Coming to Hulu this Friday and Saturday night. Don't miss our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. The biggest superstars from all genres of music on one stage. Foo Fighters, Fall Out Boy, Kelly Clarkson, Lenny Kravitz, Travis Scott, Tim McGraw, TLC, and more. From T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, it's the can't-miss music event of the year. Our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Stream it live only on Hulu and listen on iHeartRadio stations. Friday night and Saturday night starting at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Malcolm Gladwell here. This season on Revisionist History, I am diving into one of the weirdest and most infuriating corners in American life. Guns. All the crazy myths we have about them, everything we get wrong. We're going to talk about TV westerns, about a crime in a little town in rural Alabama, about the nuttiness of the Supreme Court. It's our biggest series ever, and one you won't want to miss. Listen to Revisionist History on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you a parent looking for a podcast that is both relatable and escapist? Parenting is a Joke is for you. Smart, funny conversations between stand-up comics who just happen to be parents. They even offer advice. It's up to you if you want to take it. Hey, I'm comedian, parent, and your host, Ophira Eisenberg, and our new season of Parenting is a Joke is coming at you. Subscribe and listen on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound...
I raised my chair up a little bit because I realized everything I'm doing, I'm blocked by the microphone. So I tried to... Okay, here we go. Act professional. Here we go.
Good luck. Godspeed.
Good luck. No, I was just... Do I need to... Oh, there we go. Just a little bit down. Just
okay.
Now, yeah, but that's a little bit closer to
the lighting on your face is fantastic. That's what matters. Not the sound, because it's just a podcast.
Right. The sound doesn't, because it's only a podcast, but that ring light is doing a lot of work today because it's sort of cloudy out.
It's great.
And it's such weird, it's just such weird weather for Southern California. It's rainy and humid and
humid.
Dry heat people.
Yeah, we're not used to this. And the mosquitoes, the mosquitoes are out of control.
Well, mosquitoes could find me in the Arctic, so it is always a problem for me. No joke. I have tried everything. I could literally dip myself in citronella, and I'm pretty sure they would still find me.
We got that tasty blood.
So it's always a nightmare here. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my West Nile. That's pretty much how I spend my summers these days.
Yeah, it's bad. I read on Twitter, because that's my best news source. X. I can't get on board. It's Twitter.
Look, you know what? I haven't been on Twitter. Literally, he took it over, and I went, this is gonna go really poorly.
I noticed. I can't.
I was never really on there much.
Yeah,
anyway.
You're not even. I think. You're not even
I was really not even on there that much anyway. It was too confusing. There was too much. I was just there's so much going on here.
No, we need fewer social media apps, not more.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm.
But anyway, so on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it, there's so many stories about these. There's a new breed of mosquitoes that came over here on shipping, on those shipping vessels.
They're the little ankle biter mosquitoes.
Yes.
That's what they call them, is ankle biters, which makes me laugh because the ankle biter was such an Uncle Jesse thing to say. He always called us ankle biters.
So he manifested this mosquito problem.
He basically manifested literal ankle biters, and I am now being plagued with them for the rest of my life, which that also fits, I feel like.
And I'm sure everyone listening on the East Coast or any of those humid states, they're probably just
right, they're
come on,
shut
you wimps,
up. Or the people in Canada that are you have never seen just a screen of mosquitoes with a haze.
We're so spoiled here.
So anyway, and I'm also sure that this is exactly what people tuned in for, is
mosquito chatter, weather chatter.
Our discussion of the weather. Yep. This is... welcome to our old age home.
This is exactly how it's going to be in our retirement home.
This is what it is. This is what happens.
We're talking about weather, bugs, and This is must see
My
listening.
mom saw your dad.
What?
She went. Yeah, she went and visited. She was visiting the retirement home that he's at.
Really? Oh no! Wait, recently?
And she happened to be leaving. She was like on her way out, and he walked through, and she was like, "Dawn." And they apparently sat and chatted for quite a while. She said it was lovely. Yeah,
He did not tell me that. I haven't talked to him in a few days though. So that's so cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, maybe he forgot.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure when I get older, I'm gonna see people and forget. I see people and forget now.
Yeah, that's not an age thing. That's just how we are.
That's not an age thing. That's just how we are.
Short-term memories.
But anyway, right. But yes, my mom saw your dad, and she listened to her episode.
Oh, she did. Did she like it?
I mean, she listens to every. She listens to every episode, as we know.
She gives us notes. I love her notes.
She gives us notes. Yep. She will tell you what she really thinks.
She doesn't hold back.
God. But she loved that episode, and she was like, as much as I hate the sound of my own voice, which I was like, I relate, and I totally get it. She thought it was a really great episode. So
yay, Janice.
I hope our listeners did too. It was really fun to have. It's really fun to have mom on the episode.
So great. She has such a great perspective, and I just love your mom so much. She's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she really is. She really is. It was fun.
Well, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's get into it. This week's episode is based on a song.
It is.
Who sings that? Is it Rick Springfield? Jesse's Girl.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I think
unless it's a boy band. I don't know.
It might be.
We're waiting for
Unless did New Kids on the Block ever cover Jesse's Girl?
No. So that's why I don't know anything about it.
That's a missed opportunity. They could have sung it on. They could have sung it on the show.
Well, we couldn't get them on the show. They were too big back in the early 90s. We couldn't get them on the show. I asked. It wasn't happening. Anyways, we had to wait for Fuller House for that to happen. But anyways, welcome back to How Rude, Tanneritos, everyone. I am Andrea Barber.
And I am Jodie Sweeten.
Today we are discussing Season 1, Episode 8, entitled Jesse's Girl.
Yes. You can't say it without singing the song.
You physically can't, although I was very out of tune there, but we'll just move forward. It originally aired on November 5th, 1987, and it goes a little something like this. Jesse's dream girl turns into a nightmare when she starts to like Joey. Of course, it's a nightmare for Jesse.
Wow. Turns into a night. She doesn't turn into a nightmare. The situation is a little complicated.
Well, the situation is a nightmare, not the girl. It was directed by Jeff Franklin and Don Van Atta. I don't remember him directing.
Wait, what?
That's what my notes say. Did Don Van Atta ever direct it? And I checked it. I double checked this.
Apparently, he did. He directed Season 1, Episode 8.
Well, Don Van Atta is our producer. Or was our producer.
Don Van Atta was one of the producers.
Right?
Yes, he was one of the producers.
That's where Van Atta Junior High, in later seasons, that's where Van Atta Junior High comes from.
Right, comes from the great Don Van Atta. But wow, I do not remember them jointly directing this. And I
was shocked.
I am currently shocked. Wonder why that happened, or how, or what was. That's just an interesting.
Yeah, to have co-directors is weird, but then to have
that's what
Don Van Atta, who's a producer, like all of it is weird. So I don't know if IMDb is wrong, we're wrong. I don't know, but this is what we're going with.
I don't know, but there's questions to be had.
There's questions. Anyways, the episode was written by Jeff Franklin. And we have one guest star this week. It is Elizabeth Kiefer. She plays Karina Spicer. And
what a name.
Isn't that a great name? That's right out of like a romance novel, right?
It really is. It really is. It's like it's just
Karina Spicer. And Elizabeth Kiefer appeared on Happy Days, Cheers, Facts of Life, and most recently on Blue Bloods. All right, we open with ominous music and a rainy establishing shot. This is so cool.
Right?
It is a dark and stormy night at the Full House. This set the tone for the entire episode to come. I loved it. The living room is dark, and we hear thunder as Jesse creeps downstairs holding a baseball bat. He walks backwards towards the alcove until he turns around and suddenly finds himself face to face with Joey. They both scream. Danny rushes downstairs asking, "What is going on?" Jesse explains that he heard a noise and thought it was a prowler. Joey,
I have to say, Danny's response time is
right.
incredible.
He was
though.
right there.
That was the one thing I noticed was like there was a scream and down came Danny in his robe and slippers. And Joey has a nightcap on as though he is
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Dickensian character.
He has an Ebenezer Scrooge cap on.
Right, and so does the mannequin.
That is just the detail. I give a round of applause for the detail.
With which this mannequin was treated is incredible. Right.
But yeah,
not one, but two stockings.
So I didn't even know where you find those, but that is just fantastic.
Right? Like, do people wear them? Is that a thing? I don't
know. So Joey is holding a giant Mr. Potato Head for protection. I don't know why he's holding this big thing, but he calls.
Look, sometimes it's shock and awe. You know what I mean? Just grab a giant potato head and the person's going to be like, I don't know what's happening. And then you throw it at him and you run. And that's how you get out of a situation.
That must be what it was.
That's what his plan was.
That's a great plan.
It's such a well-known plan. You know what I mean?
That's better, much better than a weapon. It like just have a Mr. Potato Head that's twice the size.
Just freak them out. Right. And then just, yeah.
So the girls appear on the staircase and startle the men. DJ and Stephanie are wearing adorable pajamas. DJ...
I want those purple footy pajamas that I'm
cute.
wearing.
They look so comfortable.
And DJ's with the little state university thing on. I mean, adorable.
Oh, I was trying to read the words because she's got little teddy bears on her sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But
State
University.
University.
That is so cute. That's adorable. And I feel like I've seen those pajamas, but I bet she wears them again because they looked so familiar.
Yeah, she has. Yeah.
Recurring pajamas.
Recurring pajamas. Recurring headbands, for sure. Recurring nighttime headbands.
Right. She's wearing the plastic headband to sleep in. Like, you're right. She must.
Right. Well, she's got a headband. Joey's got a nightcap. It's to each their own.
The wardrobe department was really just on top of it this week.
Yeah.
Stephanie, who's referring to the baseball bat that Jesse is carrying, asks if the guys play baseball at night after they go to sleep. Joey confesses that Jesse is a wee bit miffed at him. Jesse grabs Joey by the collar and Danny tells them to give each other a hug. Jesse looks at him like this suggestion is just ludicrous. Now Jesse begins to tell the story of mean Mr. Joey, who stabs sweet, innocent Uncle Jesse in the back. Uh-oh. Ooh. The girls take a seat on the couch, ready to hear this story. And Danny says to Jesse, this better be PG. And I'm thinking the same thing. Like, have we gone a single episode yet without Jesse telling a story about a woman he's dating? Like, this is every episode now. The recurring story.
No, we haven't. And this one is no exception.
No.
Yeah.
Jesse says it all started last week when the exterminator business was slow. So he decided to start teaching guitar. He was waiting for his new student to show up when we get our first dissolve to a flashback. So the screen gets blurry and there's like a sound.
I actually loved how this was told because it was like on a dark and stormy night. Like it's told like a sort of like a little campfire tale, which I thought was a really fun way to tell a story.
I loved it. It set the tone. It was it's not a linear format, but it works really well in this case. So we dissolve to Jesse's room where Jesse's playing his guitar and working on a new song. DJ enters and tells Jesse that there's a girl there to see him. Jesse says, oh, that must be my new guitar student. And DJ replies, yeah, right. DJ yells for her to come on in, and we meet Karina Spicer, a beautiful woman with blonde, curly hair. There is an instant connection.
That hair, just such 80s hair.
Huge.
So much hair. It is giant. Yeah. Only to be rivaled, though, by her shoulder pads.
Yes.
I mean, I guess if your hair is that big, you also have to look like you have shoulders.
True.
Therefore, wearing linebacker pads.
Yeah, it all worked.
But they were incredible.
The proportions worked here. The shoulder pad to hair ratio worked really well.
It was a lot. Right, because if the hair would have been small and those shoulder pads big, that would look
weird.
Even more ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, wardrobe nails it. There is an instant connection between Karina and Jesse. So DJ excuses herself from the room, and Karina takes a seat and admits to Jesse that she has no guitar experience whatsoever, but she wants to learn so she can play for her second grade students. Aw. Jesse claims that he loves youngsters, right as Stephanie walks into the room carrying a beheaded teddy bear. Jesse abruptly tells her, not now. So Jesse...
What happened to that poor teddy bear?
But I love that the teddy bear, it's like a clean cut, like the beheading. It's not like a kid
That's
did
what
this.
I'm saying.
Props, clearly. The props department clearly.
Well, the props department clearly did, but But also, like, what's going on with the beheading of stuffed animals around there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Stephanie's got some aggression.
Why did you have such a sharp object?
She's taking it out on the bear. This is pre-Mr. Bear. So
yeah,
this was the bear before Mr. Bear. So he deserves beheading because he's not Mr. Bear.
That's true. He's not Mr. Bear.
So Jesse, realizing that he came off a little harsh, tells Stephanie that he will help sew Teddy's head back on. And he calls her Honey Bunch and Sweetie Pie. And Stephanie says about these new nicknames, this is weird. And Jodie, you're wearing the most amazing sweatsuit here. This yellow sweatsuit with a caterpillar.
With the very hungry caterpillar, basically, on it.
So cute.
Yeah, it was quite yellow.
You were just a vision in yellow.
I was just a literal ray of sunshine. You could hardly look at me. But yeah, between that and the little caterpillar on it, it was pretty. It was pretty epic. I'm sure I felt great in that.
I bet you did. You looked confident. I hope you got to keep that and take it home at the end of the season.
I don't think I did, but I do feel like there were some publicity photos potentially in that yellow caterpillar outfit at some point.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So Karina laughs and Stephanie comments how pretty she is. As Stephanie exits, she gestures toward Jesse and tells Karina, watch him.
Steph knows. She's like, look, I'm woman to woman. I
gotta warn you about this guy with the hair.
Yeah.
So back to the guitar lesson, Jesse teaches Karina 2 simple chords and makes fun of the 80s rock band Twisted Sister. Karina tries poorly to copy Jesse, but she's not doing a very good job. Jesse plays a medley of songs for Karina, including Tom Dooley and Elvis's...
A fan favorite. I mean... Tom Dooley, that's such a classic hit.
It was a weird choice, but well,
I was like, "What is this?"
Well,
song?
and I think he realizes this is not the song to choose to serenade and woo this woman.
I just didn't even know it was a song to be entered into choice. Is what I'm saying. It was a song that I did not remember really ever hearing much.
Me neither. But it's Jesse's girl, Jesse's choice. But he pivots quickly to Elvis's "Can't Help Falling in Love." And Karina is just being drawn in by this serenade. It looks like they're about to kiss, but it gets awkward. So they go back to singing Tom Dooley.
It gets awkward. You just met this person and sat down on his bed, and you're supposed to be getting a guitar lesson, and he's like 6 inches from your face singing Tom Dooley. What is happening? I would be alarmed. And the child is saying, watch out for him.
She should have run out of there, but, then we wouldn't have an episode. So
yeah, good thing she has those shoulder pads. Makes her look a little larger, more intimidating. You know what I mean?
You could beat him up if things go south.
Right. She's, the size is a little bigger. You know what I mean?
So Jesse,
can you imagine?
You don't pull that thread. Like this is a sitcom.
Right.
We have to suspend
It's like
belief.
last time. Can you imagine a guy in a full leather suit coming and playing Monopoly and then falling asleep on your couch?
None of it makes sense. No. So Jesse teaches her how to strum. And then we hear voiceover Jesse say that he took Karina for a little ride on his motorcycle after the lesson. And 7 hours later, we see Jesse and Karina walk in the front door of the living room. Jesse invites Karina to stay for a drink, but she says she has other plans. But she thanks him.
Her hair looks great for being on a motorcycle for 7 hours. I have to say, it's really, if you've ever ridden on a motorcycle for 5 minutes, it looks like a rat's nest. And all of that hair you'd have to really.
Well, it's because of the hairspray in the 80s it was terrible,
that's true.
Terrible for the environment.
With the amount of Aquanet.
Right, that's it.
Yes, it
it creates like a helmet head.
I'm sure Jesse has some Aquanet hairspray on his motorcycle, like in one of the little saddlebags. Okay, that answers that question.
The honey nut rinse Aquanet. He's got the whole thing.
Right, so your head smells like Cheerios while riding your motorcycle through San Francisco.
So she thanks him for a great day. They had a guitar lesson, a picnic by the bay, a candlelight dinner in the wine country. She asks him, "Do you treat all your students this way?" And Jesse says, "Well, that was the deluxe lesson." Karina starts to leave, and Jesse gives her a very slow kiss goodbye. Naturally, it is at this very moment that DJ and Stephanie walk into the room and say, "Ew, ew."
you.
Karina leaves, and we get a have mercy from Jesse. Jesse turns around. Jesse dumps his jacket right there on the floor by the front door. And I want you to note this for later. Because I have a comment later in the episode about this.
The jacket's
on the floor, which is very in character for Jesse. Just throw that jacket anywhere.
Put the jackets on the floor. No, that's a metal song. Sorry, never mind.
If it's not a boy band, I don't get it.
I've lost on you. Lost on you.
Right over my head. Jesse tells the girls, don't ever ew when your uncle is kissing, and he exits to the kitchen.
Well, maybe stop making out in every damn room of the house, bro.
Every room.
Come on.
Every room.
Every room. Every time someone walks into a room, you've got your tongue down someone's throat, sir. I also would be saying ew as an adult.
Like, we're, 9 episodes into this? Doesn't he know by now that there's no privacy in the Full House at all?
There's no privacy. Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem to bother him nor the women that come in and make out with him.
No.
But it's bothering the children.
It is.
Sir.
They think it's gross. Ew. So we are now in the kitchen where Danny and Joey are doing the dishes. Jesse walks in looking like he's daydreaming with stars in his eyes. And the guys recognize this look. They all sit at the kitchen table and Danny says, okay, what's her name? Jesse romantically says, Karina. And Danny asks, you can't ever meet a Debbie or a Susie? Jesse says, well, you can joke, but Karina and me, there was magic. And Joey says, with you, there's always magic. And Joey's kind of right here. Like, how many times has Jesse declared his love for a woman? Like, every episode now.
Jesse, I feel like might have some relationship issues maybe going on that he should talk to someone about. He seems a little bit like he's just wanting to just the connection for the sake of connection. Yeah. There's some deeper issues going on. There. Seems also very love avoidant, and a little bit harsh to the kids. He's got some growth to do.
No, a therapist would have a field day with Jesse at this point in Full House.
Oh, seriously. I mean, it's quite a character to break down. But really, the best line from Joey is that you should wear a top hat and pull doves out of your pants because he says if it's magic, you should wear a top hat and pull dove out of your pants because it basically happens all the time. And I would just love to see that.
Well, and the guys probably couldn't get through that line without laughing.
I was going to say, can you imagine? I can't. Yeah, I couldn't look you in the eye and say that.
Oh no.
Not with a straight face. No,
that was definitely a multiple take situation right there.
Yes.
So Danny says he felt the same magic when he met Pam in their 10th grade geometry class.
So they were high school sweethearts.
High school sweethearts. That's right.
Oh, wow, that's even more heartbreaking.
I know. It's very tragic. Danny imitates himself asking Pam, can I borrow your slide rule? In a very high-pitched voice. Jesse jokes, well, you didn't reach puberty until this 10th grade? Danny responds that he woke up the very next morning with a mustache.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, right? Joey isn't having it. He claims that love simply does not happen that fast. And Jesse claims that he knows it's real because he can't stop smiling like he's Nancy Reagan. Wow. There's a
throwback for you.
Throwback to the 80s.
That really hits different these days.
Well, she had
was Nancy Reagan known for smiling?
She must be. I mean, she was a beautiful
Or was it just
woman.
Sort of that vacant wave sort of smile, like just...
I don't know.
Just make sure no one knows he's got Alzheimer's.
I don't know. Well, Jodie,
that was the truth. That was the truth. I'm sorry. That was what was happening.
Well, let's stay in sitcom land here where we don't bring in, sad real life scenarios. But yes, you're right. No, she had to put on a happy face.
I'm just saying, I didn't know. The Nancy Reagan line.
It threw me too.
Look, I'm sorry. I make jokes.
That's what you do. And you do it well. Okay, well, let's dissolve. Let's dissolve back to...
Please, I'm dissolving now as we speak.
We're dissolving. Right. We're back in the present day living room, but it's still nighttime. And Jesse is still insisting that he and Karina were in love. DJ confirms that they saw him kissing Karina. Ew, the girls reiterate. And Danny pleads, Jesse, please stop making out in front of my kids. Danny speaks for all of us.
Seriously.
Yes.
Please. Calm down, sir.
Jesse demands that Joey, Mr. Backstabber, tell everyone what he did today. Joey starts to detail his mundane morning routine of turning off his alarm clock and stretching. And Danny says, can you pick up the pace? I'd like to get the girls to bed before Good Morning America. Not Wake Up San Francisco, Good Morning America. Joey starts to tell this story, and we dissolve back to earlier in the day. Joey, Danny, and the girls are getting ready to watch The Wizard of Oz, and it's Stephanie's first viewing of Wizard of Oz. Now,
fun fact of Wizard of Oz, the pilot episode was filmed on, I believe, stage 19.
At the Sony, at the Lorimar. It was Lorimar
at the Sony Lorimar, previously MGM lot, which was, of course, where they filmed Wizard of Oz.
So cool.
And legend has it, we were on, stage 19, by the way, is a gigantic stage.
Enormous.
It's like one of the biggest stages there. And our little set took up a very small portion of it, and it was just for the pilot episode. But rumor had it that that was the stage where they filmed the big poppy field scene of Wizard of Oz.
That's so cool.
So it was a fun little Wizard of Oz tie-in, and I also dressed up as Dorothy, complete with basket and faux dog, for the Halloween party that they had on the lot the first season, I believe, first or second season maybe of Full House.
That is so great. That is so appropriate.
Yes, Wizard of Oz was a little
I love that. Is it true that the yellow brick road is still deep underneath that stage where we did the pilot?
They say that it is. I don't know. I mean,
it'd be hard to prove unless you dig down there.
It'd be hard to prove unless you dig down. It may. I would like to just believe that it is in the spirit of the magic of the Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
But chances are they probably ripped it up like they do with most sets. But who knows? Maybe
there's a brick or two, a yellow brick or two down there.
Yeah. I'm sure whatever it's painted in is covered in asbestos, so we should probably just leave it down there, because that was back in the days before when they didn't care about things
exactly.
like that.
Have you ever woken up by a tiny hand prying your own eyelid open? So glad I bought that pricey gradual light alarm clock to help me ease into the morning. Never happened. Hey, I'm comedian, parent, and shell of my former self, Ophira Eisenberg, and I host a podcast called Parenting is a Joke. Each week I talk to a different comedian, and we celebrate the absurdity of shuffling a creative career with raising a kid, highlight less traditional parenting journeys, all while relishing in the fact that nobody knows what they're doing. But we're all trying. Sometimes even our best. I mean, not me, but others. This season is a banger, with guests including David Cross, Amber Tamblyn, Michelle Buteau, and so many more, co-produced by Pretty Good Friends and iHeart Podcasts. You can listen to Season 2 of Parenting is a Joke starting September 19th on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is Annie.
And Samantha.
And we're the hosts of Stuff I'll Never Told You, an intersectional feminist podcast about anything and everything from social issues, gender, entertainment, science, fashion, and everything in between. And we're coming out with an audiobook called Stuff I Never Told You, the feminist past, present, and future.
We break down things like the pantsuit revolution, the battle of the sexes, the civil rights movement, disability activism, LGBTQ+ rights, the Jane Collective, and so much more, including the feminism of fictional women like Princess Leia and tropes like the final girl.
When it comes to the audiobook, one of my absolute favorite parts of it was the team of amazing women we got to work with and hearing their creativity shine through, especially when it comes to the soundscaping, the graphic novel bits, but they were just also invaluable in giving us advice and directing us.
Having a team like that who not only loved what we did, but supported it and knew how to make it better, 100% so much more meaningful.
You can order your copy of Stuff I Never Told You, the feminist past, present, and future, where audiobooks are sold, or get yours at stuffyoushouldreadbooks.com.
I'm the Wizard of Oz. I'm the one making everything happen.
Real Housewife of Salt Lake City star Jen Shaw is running the scam of the century.
We probably will never be able to be retired. We'll have to work until we can't work anymore.
Living a fat $1 million lifestyle on the backs of thousands of elderly victims.
She turned up their lives for what, a fake Fendi bag? Congrats, girl.
When you have her confronted, instead of stopping, she finds ways to be sneakier about it and keeps going.
I remember one time Stuart lost like about 8 million, and Jen was very upset, and she came down to the office late at night with Coach, yelling and screaming at him asking him where their money is.
Would you call her a con artist?
I would just call her a con. She's not very much of an artist.
Listen to Queen of the Con, Season 4, The Unreal Housewife, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The doorbell rings and Joey answers it. It's Karina, who is back for her next guitar lesson. Joey tells her that Jesse's running a little bit late, so would she like to watch The Wizard of Oz with them? Karina says, "Oh, that's my favorite movie." And Joey replies, "It's mine, too." Now, Joey takes her coat and hangs it up, which I think is in direct contrast to the way Jesse just flung his coat on the floor earlier. Like, maybe it's just me, but that stood out to me that Joey's more careful with hanging up the coats. Jesse doesn't care.
Well, but Jesse threw his own coat on the ground,
True.
right?
Yes, true. It would be bad form for Joey to throw Karina's coat on the floor.
I mean, true, but not entirely out of character for Joey.
True,
so
very true.
Possible. But no, I think that was a very look, for someone that lives in an alcove, he's got great manners.
He does not have the manners of a typical alcove dwelling person.
He's got manners and mannequins.
Manners and mannequins.
Manners and mannequins.
That's the title of his memoir. Manners and mannequins.
Yeah, exactly. It's right. It's all started in an alcove. But the mannequin is wearing his shirt, by the way.
It continues. Yes, the trend continues. Joey introduces Karina to the family, and DJ notes that something happened to the TV. It's snowing in Kansas, she says. The cable went out. Stephanie is really disappointed and keeps pleading with her dad to fix it.
Yeah, fix it.
Fix it. She says that over and over. And
I
Joey
was like,
comes
did the Wi-Fi go out? No, you idiot.
Oh, Jody. Yeah,
no.
The Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi went out. Yep. No.
So Joey comes to the rescue by announcing that he will do the Wizard of Oz bit that he does in his comedy act. And what follows is an amazing 2-minute rendition of The Wizard of Oz by Joey, complete with props that he just happened to have handy in his alcove.
To have a spinning house on a stick, you know?
Yes, and bicycle handles.
And
of course
right, because he does a Wizard of Oz bit in his, because if you saw just that in a comedy bit, you'd be like, what's happened? What's happening? Right.
Be like, can I get a refund?
But luckily, he's got it in a box ready to go. Yeah, I never need to see The Wizard of Oz ever again. I'm just going to watch that. No. That's it.
Just watch those 2 minutes and you've got
it was brilliant. Like, I was laughing at it because it's so silly, but also, like, it really is. It's such a great moment.
It's such a great bit. And it really showcases Dave's talent of being able to do any voice.
Really, any
sound.
voice, any sound, any noise. He was everything from a tornado to, Dorothy
Auntie
to Auntie M.
Cowardly Lion.
Yep.
Yeah, the Wicked Witch of the
His
West.
Cowardly Lion was great.
His Cowardly Lion is so funny. I'm not going to imitate that because that would be tragic. But yeah, he's fantastic.
Right.
Oh, that's good. Oh, Dave would be proud of you.
That sounded more like a Wookiee, actually. Wookiee and Cowardly Lion share some tone a little bit.
They do. They share some traits.
Yeah.
There's some crossover.
But I'm not going to do that again and save us all that horrific sound.
Thank you. So even Michelle is just enraptured by this performance, and she laughs in an unscripted baby moment.
So cute, by the way.
Cute.
She was clapping and loved it, and that was such a cute little moment of like the three girls sitting there on the floor watching it and genuinely laughing and having fun, and it was very cute.
Yes, there was no acting involved here. This was genuine laughter.
No,
and
oh my God. I
was
watching Candace and I's face, and we were so enjoying Dave in that performance. I remember him. I remember that house spinning on the stick, the whole thing. Yeah. I just thought it was amazing. Oh, yeah.
And the Abraham Lincoln, the giant Abraham Lincoln on a stick.
I don't know, if I got that.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? That it was like just a imposing sort of bearded guy, and that he did kind of look like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very funny.
Joey squirts water from a tube, which melts the witch, and he clicks his heels together 3 times and ends this performance by saying, "Dorothy, wake up! Your teeth are all finished." And even Karina is impressed. Everyone claps. This is a fantastic performance.
Yes.
Danny takes the three girls upstairs for bed, leaving Joey and Karina alone on the couch.
Weren't they just about to start a movie? Well, I guess the movie's not playing now, but it feels like the movie would have taken a couple hours. Like now we're just like, well, no movie. Now you go to bed.
Well, yeah, because the cable's out or the Wi-Fi.
Well, that's true. The cable, right? The cable's out. The cable's out, and Karina and her shoulder pads, her second round of shoulder pads have arrived, which I think may actually be larger than the first. And I think her jacket and shirt underneath both had shoulder pads in them.
Yeah. Oh no, she needs as much padding as she can get because you never know what's going to happen in the Tanner house.
Right, and you've got to look like you have enough shoulders for all that hair.
Yeah, true. This all tracks. So Karina starts flirting with Joey and tells him that she finds a sense of humor a very sexy quality in a man.
Didn't she just go on a 7-hour date with Jesse?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. I side-eyed
I was
Karina.
A little like, wow, dude's roommate in the living room while you're with.
Yeah.
I was
It's a little gutsy. Gutsy.
I mean, you know what? Maybe those shoulder pads have given her a little boost of confidence because I was like, wow, that is.
Yeah, her ego is as big as her shoulder pad.
Oh, it's a shoulder pad. Yeah. She is like, I own this room simply because I take up so much space in it.
So she hints around asking if Joey has a girlfriend, to which he replies, no, he does not. And Karina suggests that maybe she and Joey should get together. Joey tells her to pick a time, and he shows her the 2 Swatch watches on his arm.
I was going to say, did you notice he's wearing 2 watches again?
2 Swatch, just like the last episode, 2 Swatch watches.
It was a thing. It was an 80s thing. That was why they made all those weird different colors, so you could wear like 17 of them at a time.
You could match them to your whatever outfit you were wearing.
You could be literally any time zone. You were like, I know, what did it for Greenwich all the way. Just every single time zone. Yeah.
It's very, very efficient.
Incredibly efficient. Right.
Mm-hmm. So Karina says, well, how about right after my lesson with Jesse? Which prompts Joey to remember, oh, shoot. Yes, this is the woman that Jesse is in love with. Uh-oh.
I mean, Jesse's really missing the mark on this one. He's like all head over heels, and this lady's like, look, I could kind of think your roommate's cute. Like that's
right.
That's never a good sign, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, Jesse did not read this situation very well.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like Jesse has some like, love and relationship issues where he's got to.
Yes,
bro, it's okay. It's okay.
He needs to work. Well, we got to get all this out of the way before Becky shows up next season. We got to get all the woman drama
right. We really have to establish that he's kind of a wreck in that way. And look, shoulder pads they draw you in.
They do. It's just very appealing.
Yeah.
So flustered, Joey rushes into the kitchen and Karina follows him and asks if she can give him a hand. Joey just starts looking in all these random drawers and cupboards, just completely flustered. Joey confesses.
Just opening everything, just looking for a distraction.
Drawer.
Great.
Joey confesses to her that Jesse is really, really crazy about her. And Karina is like, well, Jesse's a nice guy, but there was really nothing special between them.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Either
Jesse really misread the situation or she kind of let him on. I don't know if I'm a little I don't know.
I do side eye Karina, but in her defense,
not her fault.
No, I think she just until she met Joey and saw that fabulous Wizard of Oz performance, which drew her in. She loves comedy. Yeah. She loves funny men. Yeah, she loves kids. I think
any guy that's got a spinning house on a stick that lives in an alcove. That's
How do you resist that? Irresistible. So Joey stands firm and he says, if there is one thing that's sacred, you never mess with a buddy's girl. And Karina responds, but I'm not his girl. Karina says it was just one innocent little kiss shared between them. And she says, it was like this. And she pecks Joey on the lips. It's how I kiss my grandmother, she says. Wow. That's not how I kiss my grandmother, but okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a thing.
She describes it as 4 lips shaking hands, which is an odd description, but
I mean, sure. The visual I got of that though was just like 4 little hands coming out. Hello, nice to meet you. Right. Like it was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But it was a very clear visual.
Karina suggests that they try it again. And boy, do they. They've only known each other for 6 minutes, but Joey and Karina kiss passionately.
I mean,
whoa.
This
is just whoa.
The making out in these
making out
episodes.
in the Full House. Yes,
yes. Just making out everywhere, every room.
It's a little weird to see Joey like making out because that's not typically his character. He's not the wooer. He's not the horn dog. He's Joey.
These early episodes are really. I'm like, wow, I don't remember all of this. I mean, I wasn't in the scenes. If I was just there saying ew. Right. But I sort of share that emotion still.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's just it's bizarre to see.
But this is not going to go well. It's not.
Oh no, because of course, right at this very moment, Jesse walks in carrying roses and catches them kissing.
No.
And I got to say, the thunder is used very well here to emphasize the danger of the situation. It's just a great use.
I mean, Jesse also is wet. If you look the attention to detail here, he's got water on him, thus really emphasizing the point that he went out in a storm to get these flowers specifically for her before the lesson. And now this is what so like it's really like the implication is that there's a big buildup here.
That is such a great attention to detail. I did not notice that he was wet. Wow.
Yeah.
He's put in a lot of effort for this guitar lesson.
Yeah.
And what a scene to walk in on. We have a very awkward but well-timed commercial break. And when we come back, we're still in the kitchen where we left off. Jesse asks, what is going on here? And Joey tries to convince him that Karina was choking on some bad cheese. And he was simply initiating a Heimlich maneuver. And when that didn't work, he tried using the Hoover maneuver. Of course.
Of course, right. The old Hoover maneuver.
That's suck that cheese right out of her throat.
That is not, that's not what I was thinking when I thought of that. But anyway.
Oh. Okay. Well, Jesse also is
well, anyway. No, let's just move on. Let's keep going.
You don't want to. You don't want to
keep going.
Follow that train of thought. Okay.
I mean, I do, but I won't.
Okay. I'll thank you in advance for that. Jesse isn't buying a word of this. He says that he's
I wonder
no
why.
longer. Yeah, right. It's so believable. He says he's not in the mood for a guitar lesson tonight, and he exits to the living room. Joey and Karina follow him. Joey confesses that they were indeed kissing. And Jesse's like, no. He's very sarcastic in this.
Yeah. But she never says anything. It's sort of weird. Again, she just sort of stands there like a houseplant with lips that have been planting themselves up on everyone.
Yeah. No, she's just letting them fight. Yeah, she's just watching the drama unfold.
I think Karina likes this a little bit. I think this is kind of her thing. She likes to go and, cause drama at various guitar teachers' households.
Yeah, and it's two guys fighting over her. So
yeah.
I think she's enjoying this secretly. Her and her big ego and her big shoulder
Jesse
pads.
did misread the situation. Anyway.
True.
Back to Jesse and Joey.
Okay, so Jesse tells Karina that he needs a moment alone with Jesse. So she grabs her coat, apologizes for causing trouble, and leaves. Before she steps out the door, Joey promises her that they will work everything out in a calm, adult, rational manner. Jesse closes the door after her. There is a silent beat, and then Joey takes off running upstairs with Jesse chasing after him.
Smart move.
Smart move. That's the only way to respond in this kind of situation.
Yes.
Joey runs into Michelle's room and grabs her from her crib to use her as a human shield.
That's terrible.
The men argue. Yeah, I know. Well, this is what Michelle is for.
Right. Also, again, very uncomfortably holding the baby. They just held that the baby out like a sack of potatoes.
She's so tolerant.
Yeah, well.
The men argue, and Michelle does this adorable babbling and shaking of her finger.
That was
like she's imitating him.
She was. That was so cute. That moment, I was like, oh, this is when it starts happening. Everyone's like, starts falling in love with Michelle. Like, it was so cute.
It's adorable. And like I think you mentioned last episode, you can see the Olsen twins getting so much more comfortable with the cast members.
Yeah, you see them getting more comfortable with the cast, and obviously with probably all the cameras. I mean, that's a whole overwhelming situation in the lights. And by now you can see that they're actually kind of having fun with this, and it's very cute.
Oh, it's adorable. So Joey apologizes to Jesse and admits that he should have stopped it before anything happened, but he felt that instant magic with Karina and fell in love with her. Jesse claims no, he's in love with her. And Joey says, I'm sorry, but she likes me more. Jesse is incredulous that she would like Joey more than him. Danny, who's been lurking in the background, interrupts and tells them to stop this. Stop, guys. Michelle has enough love for all of us. He tells them to both give Michelle a kiss, and what follows is an adorable moment of Jesse and Joey each kissing one of Michelle's cheeks as she's squished in the middle. Oh,
and
this is adorable.
I did notice, though, that I think it was Mary Kate had like dried fruit or goldfish or whatever in her hand, because remember that was what they used to like give them as a little treat to kind of keep them busy, was dried fruit.
Oh yeah. That's a trick I use as a mom.
Well,
in real
Adria
life,
used to always have a handful of dried fruit. Do you remember? We'd always go over there and be like, "Well, can I have some? I have a raisin.
Little
Can I
actor
have some?"
snacks.
Yeah, little actor snacks. But they would always hand the kids like either goldfish or the dried fruit or something to sort of, have them snack in their mouth. And I think that we see that in the end of that scene there where she's being squished in between the two of them.
Oh, it's
like
so
a little
cute.
Fish face. It's so cute.
Yeah, it's adorable. And you see John break. He smiles because it's just, I mean, how can you not smile at this? It's adorable. We dissolve back to the present day living room. Joey claims that he wanted to work things out, but Jesse says he couldn't stand to look at him. Danny decides it's time for the girls to go back to sleep after hearing this wonderful bedtime story. DJ says, wait, how does the story end? And Jesse says that Joey's guilt drives him totally insane, but no one can tell the difference. Stephanie's not buying it. She says, wake us up in the morning and tell us who gets the girl. And then the girls head upstairs to bed.
Have you ever woken up by a tiny hand prying your own eyelid open? So glad I bought that pricey gradual light alarm clock to help me ease into the morning. Never happened. Hey, I'm comedian, parent, and shell of my former self, Ophira Eisenberg, and I host a podcast called Parenting is a Joke. Each week I talk to a different comedian and we celebrate the absurdity of shuffling a creative career with raising a kid, highlight less traditional parenting journeys, all while relishing in the fact that nobody knows what they're doing. But we're all trying. Sometimes even our best. I mean, not me, but others. This season is a banger with guests including David Cross, Amber Tamblyn, Michelle Buteau, and so many more, co-produced by Pretty Good Friends and iHeart Podcasts. You can listen to Season 2 of Parenting is a Joke starting September 19th on the iHeart Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is Annie.
And Samantha.
And we're the hosts of Stuff I'll Never Told You, an intersectional feminist podcast about anything and everything from social issues, gender, entertainment, science, fashion, and everything in between. And we're coming out with an audiobook called Stuff I Never Told You, The Feminist Past, Present, and Future.
We break down things like the pantsuit revolution, the battle of the sexes, the civil rights movement, disability activism, LGBTQ+ rights, the Jane Collective, and so much more, including the feminism of fictional women like Princess Leia and tropes like the final girl.
When it comes to the audiobook, one of my absolute favorite parts of it was the team of amazing women we got to work with and hearing their creativity shine through, especially when it comes to the soundscaping, the graphic novel bits, but they were just also invaluable in giving us advice and directing us.
Having a team like that who not only loved what we did, but supported it and knew how to make it better, 100% so much more meaningful.
You can order your copy of Stuff I Never Told You, The Feminist Past, Present, and Future, where audiobooks are sold, or get yours at stuffyoushouldreadbooks.com.
I'm Emiolea. For as long as I can remember, I've been looking for love. For a while, I was looking in all the wrong places. I tried to figure out why I settled for that type of love. And surprise, surprise, I traced a trail of crumbs back to my childhood.
My mom's in prison. My dad's out tweaking somewhere under a bridge.
But that's just my narrative. If I want the whole story, I have to look outside of myself. So I'm turning to someone who has a very different version of the events of my life. My mom. Maybe by learning her truth, I can get closer to mine as well. When did you realize what Mami Licha did for a living?
Probably the time when the DEA agents showed up. I was very attracted to men that had just gone out of prison. At that moment, I fell in love with heroin.
This is Crumbs. The show about the things we settle for and the bits of ourselves that make us who we are. Listen to Crumbs Season 2 as part of the My Cultura Podcast Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
So now Danny says to Joey and Jesse that they need to have a conversation to work this out. He asks them a series of questions about Karina, like what is the thing she cares about most in this world? What does she look for in a relationship? What color are her eyes?
Thank you.
Joey and Jesse don't know the answers to any of these questions.
Finally,
No.
Danny is like, what about her input? What
Right,
about
yes.
what she? Right.
What about what she wants?
It was
Yeah.
I was very proud of Danny for this, and I was like, good on you, raising 3 young girls and being like, what about what she wants? You guys don't even know anything about her. This is all about you. And I
True.
Good
That's
on
a
you,
light
Danny.
bulb moment.
It's a light bulb moment. It
definitely.
was, yeah.
Because you're right. This whole time they don't give a crap about Karina and what she wants. They're just like me.
Right. Well, because obviously she wants Joey and
Yeah,
shoulder pads.
She does. And shoulder pads.
And shoulder pads. That's what she wants.
And houses spinning on a stick. That's what she wants.
Look, who doesn't? I mean, girls, he said that's what, right. If a guy walks in with a house spinning on a stick, take it.
It's love at first sight.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir. How much is that house worth? Yeah. It's 17 square feet in San Francisco. Do you know how much you could get for that?
Yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
sold for $1.2 million 10 years later. Yeah.
So here Danny gives some wise advice, and he says, I don't think you fell in love with Karina. I think you fell in love with being in love.
Yes, there we go.
Bingo.
There we go.
Yes.
Someone has gone to therapy. No.
Yes. Danny
But yeah,
knows
thanks,
what's
Danny.
up. Yep.
Voice of reason.
Jesse admits that he does seem to fall in love a lot, but he just keeps thinking that he's meeting the one. He says, I just want to meet one nice, special girl I can spend my life with. And this is excellent character development for Jesse. We're seeing that arc. We're seeing it happen right in front
I
of
have
us.
to say, when Danny says, don't worry, like, you'll know when the right one comes along. I was like, Becky's coming! And she's coming. Don't
Becky's
worry,
coming.
Uncle Jesse. Yeah, like.
Yeah, just hang on for like a dozen more episodes, and then Becky will be here.
It was just like give it another season, man. I promise it's gonna. Yeah, she's gonna show up. But it was such a like knowing what happens. It was such a fun moment to see because it kind of feels like as an audience member going back and watching it, like you're kind of in on a little secret, like you know.
Yeah. Well, it finally explains the point of all these women in all these previous episodes that all of their names end with Roxana, Vanessa.
That's true. Yeah, that
Hulk
was
Hogan's ex-sister-in-law, Karina. Like they all kind of have similar names, you know?
Huh. I never thought about that.
But that's the point. That is why we've been suffering through these dates and this public displays of affection.
Does it have something to do with him losing his sister who was named Pamela? Pamela.
Whoa. Mind blown.
Right? Like not in a weird like way, but like that it maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just he misses his older sister and like is just looking for love and for connection.
Or maybe the writers just liked these names that end with
I have a feeling that's probably really what it was, but I'm going to give it a deeper meaning here and really lean into Jesse's growth as a character. And as a
I
human.
like that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm gonna join
give
you.
it.
On
You
that
know
journey.
what?
Yeah.
Let's give it some layers. Let's dive deep here because again, the death of Pamela was it's brief. It's mentioned here and there, but I feel like everyone's gotten over it pretty quickly. So there's definitely going to be some trauma responses happening. That's what I feel like this is.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can tell you've been to therapy. You're using all these phrases.
God. Look,
it's working. It's all
working. It's finally all come together.
So Danny tells Jesse that he doesn't have to try so hard. When the right woman comes along, you'll know it.
Yep. You will.
So true. So true. Joey admits that he too went a little overboard. He was just so shocked that Karina liked him as much as he liked her.
Oh, Joey.
Oh, Joey.
Joey, you can have a little self-confidence.
Yeah. Well,
you
have
enough money to buy outfits for you and your mannequin in the alcove that you live in. Because that's a wise way to spend your money.
Yes. Well, even Jesse, in a complete twist, he tells Joey, have a little faith in yourself.
Yeah.
You're a good guy, which is so sweet.
See?
This is such a great turn for him. Jesse says he hates to admit it, but Karina did like Joey more than she liked Jesse. And God, he hates to admit this, but I love the growth.
Yes. Yep.
Like that's very big of him to admit.
Yeah, for
just
Jesse
how great of a guy that Joey is.
It's true. Well, we saw, the last episode or episode before, we see Joey really show up for Danny. We see Joey show up for Jet. We see the guys really developing their bond, and I love this.
Oh,
it didn't just kind of all happen overnight.
Yeah.
Look at
no,
there was like character development and
there was.
shit. Oh my God.
Yeah, as much as a sitcom seems like this random assortment of storylines thrown together, there's really a bigger purpose behind it.
There really is. And a random assortment of storylines.
And a random assortment of shoulder pads as well, you know?
And
you got
women with
everything
A
in this show.
It's you really from literally from A to I don't know what. To
A
Z.
to A.
A to
A.
Yeah. There we go.
So we hear a noise at the front door again, and Jesse pops up to try to catch whoever this prowler is. But it's
They've been
Karina.
sitting out there for a while through this entire story.
Well, she explains how she went back and forth to her house. She felt terrible about, coming between these two friends.
She's lurking on these people's front porch.
Yeah. Well,
the
she's not
rain.
wet either in the middle of this storm. Yeah, she's not wet. So maybe she was lurking on the porch.
I think she's been just peering in the window. I think Karina is a little much.
She's a little unhinged.
Look,
She's a
she's
little
been
stalkery.
like one date with this dude after a guitar lesson, making out with his roommate, and she feels bad, so she's lurking on someone's porch in the middle of the night in a rainstorm. They should look. No offense, Karina, whatever your name is. I just think that this is a feeling a little Fatal Attraction-y. She's even got kind of the big curly hair, sort of.
Yeah. Ooh, this you're going deep.
I'm just saying, if there were any rabbits, look out.
So Karina says she doesn't want to do anything to mess up the friendship between Jesse and Joey. And
That's
she starts
a lie. She did.
Well, I think she's having guilt. Like she's just she's sitting in her guilty feelings.
See, I'm like,
she can't handle
we're
it.
like the two, like the you're like the benefit of the doubt, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she starts to leave, but Jesse stops her and says, "Well, I may have met you first, but I think we all know who belongs together here." He tells her that she should take some time to get to know Joey because he's a great guy.
Yeah. You should go sit on his cot in the alcove in the middle of someone else's living room and get to know each other.
I don't think she knows this yet about the alcove, the cot, the mannequin. I don't think she knows that that's Joey's area. So
She watched him pull a box of Wizard of Oz props out of the alcove and sat there and was like, this is it.
This is the man for me. You're right.
Just
Okay.
saying.
She knows what she's getting into.
Look, we've all gotten into relationships for far less. So
true.
Well, maybe not
Very
all of
true.
us. Maybe not all.
So Danny and Jesse leave the room to give this new couple some alone time. Joey and Karina kiss. And that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Yay!
Oh my God.
Ending for Joey.
Now, in our Everywhere You Look moment that happens every episode, Everywhere You Look on Uncle Jesse's left arm, I believe, is a tattoo.
Oh, yes. That's right.
It is. We've seen it in episodes before because it's just right below like the shirt sleeve line so that we make sure and notice. But it is, in fact, not a real tattoo.
Oh.
It is. It's like a stenciled on one that they would put on every week. I remember John getting his tattoo on every week.
Right.
Yeah. It was not. It was not an actual tattoo, but it was the Harley Davidson emblem.
I was trying to figure out what it is.
It's a Harley Davidson tattoo. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, no, I know it was very prominent in this whole episode. It just kept seeing
Well, it's
his
perfectly
left
placed
bicep.
right below the shirt sleeve.
Yeah, true. Very true.
As one would do if they had one single tattoo, thus proving that they are a badass.
I wonder if this was John's idea or like a producer note. Like, well, who came up with the idea for Jesse to have a tattoo?
Well, he's a rock and roll man who wears leather. He's got to have a tattoo.
Okay.
Yeah. If he didn't, then he would just be an imposter.
It's in the character description. The tattoo is critical for Jesse's development here.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's the makeup department that's in charge of applying tattoos onto actors, right? Is that?
Yes. The makeup department is in charge of that because they have to make sure that there is continuity from week to week, that the placement is the same, that the producers are happy with the placement. Like there's a whole thing, that someone has to approve it, but the first time it's put on, there's a whole system of picking out which tattoos.
Yeah. There's a test, there's a tattoo test.
There is so much thought that goes into one fake tattoo that is placed there every single week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm trying. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering. I guess once you have the tattoo, it's got to be there. It's got to be there every week. Maybe John just started wearing longer shirt sleeves.
Well, I'm curious to see, if in season 6, 7, 8, if it's still there.
Well,
it must be.
Well, we're gonna have to keep looking everywhere.
Everywhere you look.
Everywhere we look, we're gonna have to keep looking at Uncle Jesse's left arm to see and make sure.
Definitely. I also noticed, in the scene where Joey's in the kitchen looking through all the drawers, trying to deflect from Karina,
right.
And he's pointing out things like the sink and the faucet, and he points to that ceramic duck and says duck.
Right.
Do you remember this duck?
I do remember the duck.
Who ended up with this duck? Did you end up with the duck?
No, I didn't
feel
end
like
up with...
somebody took the duck
No,
home.
I didn't end up with the duck, although my family does have a tragic story about the breaking of a ceramic, I think it was a ceramic duck. Maybe it was a ceramic bunny that I don't think my mom has still forgiven my dad for. She's probably going to be like, I can't believe you brought up the duck. But no, I don't know. I didn't wind up with the duck.
You didn't wind up with the duck.
No, but I think it was like a cookie jar. Like the top half of it came off. And I believe it either has already been made or there is a joke at some point about Peking duck. And the duck is peeking over something. I remember that joke.
That's coming. That's coming. I
remember that
too.
joke because I think at the time I was like, I didn't get it because I'd never ordered Peking duck at a Chinese restaurant.
Well, you were 5.
So I had no idea. Right. I was like, well, yeah, obviously the duck is peeking.
Oh, Jodie. Bless your heart.
I didn't know there was a Peking. I was 5.
Right.
Okay, I was 5.
You were eating yogurt and cereal. That's what you
on
were
my world geography yet. Anyway, yes, the Peking.
Anyways, do you have any other everywhere you look moments?
No. We've discussed the mannequin because that's not even an everywhere you look. That's a mannequin moment. That is,
it's a mannequin.
moment.
It has its own moment.
Yeah, it has its own moment. But no,
it's our running tally.
Yeah. I hope someone's keeping track of. I hope one of our listeners out there. I am intrigued for a count.
Yes, a running tally.
A running tally of how many times the mannequin is changed in the entire first season. Or up until the point that it stops. I need my ADHD weird list brain I need to know an exact number on this. So someone out there, keep track.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please keep track and make a comment. Make a comment on our Instagram page.
I don't know that it's going to win you anything other than a thumbs up from my brain that really wants to know this information. But I'd also like to see how long it keeps going. So
yeah. I'm very curious to find out.
Yes. The mannequin moment.
Oh, Jodie.
Well, everybody, thank you for joining us for another wonderful and fun episode and peek behind the scenes here at How Rude Tanneritos of another Full House episode. And we will be back next week with the miracle of Thanksgiving.
Love it. Excellent trumpets there. Excellent
right?
trumpet sounds. Yes.
I've been practicing.
I can tell.
But that'll be next week's episode. Make sure to tune in for that. In the meantime, you can follow and DM us on Instagram at How Rude Podcast, or you can shoot us an email at howrudepodcast@gmail.com. And make sure you tune in later this week because we will be having a mini-sode, which is where we answer fan questions, comments, things that you guys have noticed that maybe we overlooked.
We're going to share some great stories with you guys. I cannot wait.
Great stories.
To tell these stories.
Oh my gosh. Some amazing stories that have never been told and some photos that have never been seen.
Ooh, buckle up.
Yeah. So join us next week for more Thanksgiving, more fun, and more random everywhere you look moments.
Love it.
Love it. Love you.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
Andrea Barber.
Jodie Sweeten.
All right. Until next week, my friend.
Bye.
Bye.
Malcolm Gladwell here. This season on Revisionist History, I am diving into one of the weirdest and most infuriating corners in American life. Guns. All the crazy myths we have about them, everything we get wrong. We're going to talk about TV westerns, about a crime in a little town in rural Alabama, about the nuttiness of the Supreme Court. It's our biggest series ever, and one you won't want to miss. Listen to Revisionist History on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you a parent looking for a podcast that is both relatable and escapist? Parenting is a Joke is for you. Smart, funny conversations between stand-up comics who just happen to be parents. They even offer advice. It's up to you if you want to take it. Hey, I'm comedian, parent, and your host, Ophira Eisenberg, and our new season of Parenting is a Joke is coming at you. Subscribe and listen on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.